4 hockey games going today, and we're going to tell you exactly how to make money on each and every one of them. I'm Lawrence Pressman. This is the first ever Blue Line show. That's right, me and Matthew Barnaby hosting a show every day, Monday to Friday, moving forward. It's called The Blue Line, a hockey betting podcast, and we're going to tell you how to bet every single game of the board. We also will have a guest most days on this show. Most of those guests will be professional athletes or poker players telling us who they like, and every show will end with the great Andy Lang and some prop betting and a prop betting segment. Matthew Barnaby, this is our first show ever. We're going to have issues. There's going to be kinks. Lots to work out, but it has begun. Nice to see you, my friend.
I thought you were going to go with first annual. I that was my big bet of the day, was first annual, and I was going to jump all over you as an inaugural, but first ever. Great job. I'm really excited to do this podcast with you, as well as Andy. It's going to be fun. We love to bet. I had a crazy weekend. Got in at like 4 a.m. Was in Philadelphia for a Flyers event, and nice to be home. Nice to be in sunny Florida, I can tell you that.
Yes, and we spoke while you were at the Philadelphia Flyers event, hanging out with all the ex-Philadelphia Flyers. Matt, so let's talk about the show really quickly. You and I spoke about putting it together. We noticed that there are a ton of professional athletes doing shows. There are some unbelievably talented hockey podcasts sitting at the top of Mount Rushmore. You got the Splitting Chicklets. You've got 31 Thoughts with Elliot Friedman, and on and on and on. But there really is no show out there where NHLers can come on and talk about hockey from a gambling perspective. And so many of you guys do gamble. You gamble regularly on all sports across the board. Let's talk about that because, does it help being a professional athlete and a retired professional athlete, now a gambler?
Yeah, listen, we've talked about this for a couple of years now about doing a show together. And, I've been asked to do many podcasts and start many podcasts, and it just wasn't the right fit until we started really hammering it out. We both love to gamble. We both love sports. It's ingrained in me. I think since I've been 10 years old, I started playing poker with family, and that just evolved. And like we say all the time, gamble responsibly. Don't gamble your mortgage. But listen, I don't watch sports if I don't have money on it. That's just me in general. So this was a really good fit. I think we have two good persons. Does it help that we play? I think in some instances it does. But I think it's a math game, right? It's a numbers game and a feel thing. So I love to gamble. I love all sports. But like I said, I'm not watching a sport if I don't have money on it.
Yeah, you're watching the Blue Line, everyone. Listen, take a second out of your day and hit that like button for us. The way YouTube and all of these podcasts work is the engagement is what's going to create some momentum for our business. It takes 1 second to go, boom, hit that like button. It helps us out a lot. And also make sure to comment on these videos. Matthew, we're going to take apart all 4 games, but before we get into that, we're going to right into the dressing room here. You were an NHLer for 14 years. You've been on teams that made the playoffs. You've been on teams that almost made the playoffs. And bummer to you, you've been on teams that couldn't spell the playoffs. I want to know
what the New York Rangers, Prez.
You mean, well, yeah, actually, when you played on the Sabres, they were good at that time. I forgot that there was a time in history where the Sabres actually were good. That was the Matt Barnaby Mayday era. But anyway, Matt, what I want to know is how do we take advantage of what's going on right now? You've got a game like Nashville and Philadelphia, teams totally meaningless situation. You got teams like Minnesota playing New Jersey tonight. This means something to both these teams. Everyone's jockeying for playoff positioning. Look at what's happening between Florida and Toronto and Tampa Bay. Then you've got teams like Chicago and Buffalo that really were never in it. What I want to know is the mindset that goes on in the dressing rooms. How do we take advantage of where a team is in the standings with only 8 or 9 games to go? How do we make money from that?
Prez, it's a great question, because at this time of the year, with roughly 10 games left in the season, everyone's separated themselves into different groups, right? Teams trying to win a conference, teams trying to win a division, teams that are battling to get into the playoffs, and teams that are already booking their trips to Aruba or Bahamas. That's essentially the 3 different spots. I've been on all 3 of these different scenarios. Colorado, we had a great team when I got traded there in 2004, ready to make a Stanley Cup run after the trade deadline. I've been that team that has battled just to get into the playoffs. And every game, you're watching the scoreboards as we do. And I've been on those crappy teams in New York 3 years in a row. Tampa Bay, when I was there, not making the playoffs with no chance to make the playoffs. So the short answer is everyone's a professional. Everyone's working. No one's mailing it in. Subconsciously, if you don't have anything to play for and you're out of the playoffs, it's just a different mindset. You can say all you want, like we're going to battle and the Buffalo Sabres are where they are. And let's just take them in general, because I was at the Sabres-Flyers game the other night. It's exactly what you expect when you look at 2 teams that are out of the playoffs. 2 skilled teams. They have skill. They can score goals. Are they going to lay down in front and block a shot when you're going to Aruba in a couple of weeks? Probably not. So I always lean that teams are out of the playoffs. This is good value betting when you look at them, because I look at Nashville Flyers not making the playoffs, over 5.5. To me, that's as we're going to see as the show goes on, that's a good place to lay money, because I'm always on the over on teams that aren't making the playoffs, because subconsciously, you're just not going to do the little things as well as if you're battling for a playoff position. So, are you going to turn the puck over at the blue line? Are you not going to get a puck in? Are you going to try that hope play that maybe in game 25 you wouldn't try? So I always lean to the over in those kind of teams, and then you just have to take it game by game on teams that are trying to win a division. Toronto, Florida, Tampa Bay, if you look at them, because getting first seed is massive, especially in the Eastern Conference, but also in the West if you're Dallas and Colorado. Like those are massive things to get if you're trying to get that number 1 seed, so you don't have to play a top team in that first round.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're looking at a team like Winnipeg. They could either play Dallas, Colorado, or the Blues. Now, the Blues are the hottest team in all of hockey right now, but let's be honest here. If I'm the Jets, I want to play the Blues. And the same thing with Toronto, Florida, and Tampa Bay. It's either Ottawa or one of the others. Ottawa. So, yeah, it is a massive difference. Winning those 2 divisions is absolutely crucial. But, Matt, let's get into some actionable betting information. We've got Andy Lang still to come with our prop bet segment. At the end of the show, Matthew and I will give out our best bets. But we spoke about Nashville and Philadelphia, so let's go there. Tonight they are playing against each other, and we've got the home team Philly at around minus 120, a total of 5.5. Now, like you said, my initial reaction was to look at the over, and especially based on how bad Philadelphia is playing defensively. This team has allowed 4-4, 7-7, 3-3 in their last 6 games. It feels like they've shut it down from an intensity perspective, and they're also scoring. They just put up 7 and 6 against Buffalo, Montreal. What worries me here, Matthew, is Nashville just can't find the net. And it's not only can they not find the net, it's been consistently bad since day one this year. This is a team that has scored one goal four times in their last 7 games. They've gone under 4 in a row. They put up 18 shots against the Blues and 16 against Carolina. I agree that the over feels like the right play with the lack of intensity, the meaninglessness of this game, and how bad Philadelphia is playing defensively. I don't know if I could get to the window on an over with a Nashville game. I lean over here, but this will not make my actual betting card. How do you feel about this game?
Listen, Nashville is the most probably disappointing team all season in the National Hockey League for what they did in the offseason and expectations for this team coming through. They just aren't good. They just aren't good. If there's anyone that they can score on, it's the Philadelphia Flyers. And the way Philly played the other night, it was trade chances. Let's go. We're going to outscore you. We got some young kids. This is a team that the reins have been held back, I think, by John Tortorella. Yeah. Now that he's gone, Mishkov probably played his best game the other night against Buffalo. He could have had 4 goals. I mean, he was unbelievable. So I look at Philadelphia. I think they're going to play a very wide open game. If there's a team that Nashville can score against, it will be the Philadelphia Flyers, and they will trade chances. So for that reason alone, I'm taking the over.
Yeah, so we both like the over. I feel like you're a bit stronger on it than I am. I want to talk quickly about the side here. What's going on in the Nashville dressing room, Matthew? This team has to be disappointed. They've got legitimate leaders up and down the lineup, from their goaltender, the Forsberg, Riley, Stamkos. I mean, these are veteran. Yossi, by the way, Yossi's wife, off topic. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
I think she wins. She wins, I think, as hottest.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Have you had the pleasure of meeting her face to face?
I have not. But I play with a lot of guys I play with Peter Nedved, who dated a different Sports Illustrated model every week. It was pretty entertaining to go to the wives' room after those games. The wives didn't like it very much because she could show up in track pants and hair in a bun, and you're like, what a rocket.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that might be why Nashville is doing bad. Everyone's too busy staring at Roman Yossi's face. Wife, Matthew, what is going on in that dressing room? I mean, is this a team that we should just fade till the end of the year? Because I got to believe they're sitting there thinking, can this just end?
I've never been a part of a team that had that high of expectations and been that bad. Like, I could talk about our Ranger teams, but listen, we never had a goaltender when I was in New York. And that's, Dan Blackburn and Mike Dunham. Mike Richter retired as soon as I got there. But you look at Nashville, like, they have good defense. They added scoring to the lineup. They have a great goalie, and it just hasn't worked out. That's the dumbfounding part. So I know they're proud guys in that locker room, but I think when you're a veteran team and the expectations were so high, it's not like a bunch of young guys in Chicago or Buffalo or Philadelphia that are essentially playing for contracts or playing for a spot in the lineup. Stamkos is going nowhere. Yossi's going nowhere. These guys are going nowhere, and they know it. So I think as veterans, everyone's working hard. Everyone's battling. But as veterans, I am not betting the Nashville Predators in any of these games going forward. Because I know as a veteran, you're just, hey, let's stay healthy. Let me get into the offseason. Next year's a new year.
Matthew Barnaby, Lawrence Presman, you're watching the Blue Line. Hit that like button, guys. Let's talk Minnesota and New Jersey. And look, Matt, I don't know if we could say that this is an important game to either of these teams. They're basically locked into a spot here. But you have this scheduling quirk where they're playing against each other back to back. And I'm curious again, from the dressing room perspective, the New Jersey Devils went into Minnesota and beat them 5-2. They also outshot Minnesota. They dominated that hockey game from start to finish. Now Minnesota has a chance in a rapid revenge spot. Is that something that is meaningful? Are they sitting there going, damn, we lost last game, this is more important to us? Or is this just another game for Minnesota and as they prepare to attack the playoffs?
I wouldn't say it's a revenge game. There's not a rivalry between Minnesota and New Jersey. Having said that, they're going to be cognizant of how they played the last game, and they're going to come out much better. I'm leaning Minnesota in this one for that reason, because anytime you lose to a team, you get embarrassed at home. You're cognizant and you come out with a better effort. That's going to be their whole focus. Not a revenge game, but I think you're like,
Right.
okay, we need to play better. We need to be a much better team, especially as we're getting closer to playoffs. So a lot of these things, you look at the tape and you're like, okay, we can be better here. We don't have to turn pucks over here. And I think when you look at New Jersey, they're two pretty evenly matched teams in general. But I like Minnesota coming back, not because of a revenge, but only because they played terrible in their last game, and they go right back against that same team. They're going to be a much better team in this one.
Yeah, and guys, Minnesota is a plus 125 dog, and they are really live. Keep in mind, they are 22-11 away from home. Matthew, 22-11 away from home, and only 19-17 at home. This bodes well for this Minnesota team, not only tonight, but in the playoffs. It always must feel good as a player knowing that you are a really good road warrior team.
It is, because when you go on the road in the playoffs, we know the analogies, just split on the road. But when you feel like you can win any game on the road and it doesn't bother you, that's huge. It's crazy, because Minnesota is a great place, a great home barn to play in. I mean, it's electric when you play in that building. It's a tough place to play. So I'm more surprised, and I heard that stat the other day watching one of the Minnesota
Yeah,
games. Their home record, that's more dumbfounding than them being that great on the road. So, but it is a great feeling to be able to go on the road and keep it simple.
yeah.
That's what happens when you get good goaltending as well, right? If you're going to be a good road team, normally you have to have very good goaltending, and I think they have two really good goaltenders that give them that opportunity every single night.
Guys, this is the first ever show that Matthew and I are doing. It's called The Blue Line. We're going to be doing it every day, Monday to Friday. But guys, make sure to check out WagerTalk TV, our YouTube channel. We have shows going all day long. We have Wager Talk Today, which is at noon Eastern. I'm the host. We talk about every single sport. We have baseball, basketball, NBA college basketball. We've got golf shows, UFC shows. We're probably putting together more content at Wager Talk than any place out there. I mean, look, that's not a fact, but it is an insane amount of content. So please check out our channel, Wager Talk TV. Matt, let's turn our attention to Calgary versus Colorado. And look, Calgary is falling out. They're now in must-win mode, and it's going to be hard. They're playing a Colorado team that is also trying to establish a playoff position. And Colorado here is coming off of a loss, 2-1 against St. Louis at home. I wouldn't want to be Calgary here. I don't want to play a Colorado team off of a loss. Calgary has lost 2 in a row. They did get a point in their last game with an exceptional effort in Edmonton. For me, Matthew, I like the under in this game. There are some sixes out there. I look at this and I say to myself, Calgary is not going to put up more than 2 here. And, does that make Colorado the bet at minus 275? I don't think so. I think Colorado and Calgary are going to play tight tonight. It's going to be an intense hockey game. And for Calgary to win this game, or frankly, any game, I think they got to keep the score down. I think the value is on the under, more so than Colorado. I can't bet Calgary in this spot. What do you think we should do in this game?
I'm with you on that point. I'm actually taking Colorado puck line. I think Colorado dominates them. I think Colorado's the best team in the National Hockey League when they're flying. And Natchez, everyone talks about Rantanen, and that Natchez is a hell of a player. He was just stuck in Carolina, where you don't hear much about him, but he's a heck of a player. And I think we've seen what he's done since he's he's went to Colorado. So I'm with you. I think this is a 3-1, 4-1 hockey game. I think Colorado wins. I like the under, but I love Colorado in this spot. And St. Louis, the only person, I'm going to St. Louis on Thursday for Kelly Chase puck cancer night and fantasy camp this weekend. So if there's anyone that can ruin their streak that they got going in St. Louis, maybe it's me as we come into town, all the alumni. But I love Colorado in this spot. I like the under in this spot. I just think they're a way better team.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing as well is there's many betting opportunities in this game because based on what we're talking about, Colorado team total over, Calgary team total under. So I think ultimately you take the under 4-1. 4-1 ending to this game. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Let's turn our attention to the final game on the board, and that is Dallas playing Seattle. Look, this Dallas team, is Colorado the best team in hockey? Dallas is right up there, and they have won 5 games in a row. Now, you want to talk about a scheduling quirk, Math. I don't remember offhand a team playing in another team's barn twice in a row. I'm sure it's happened. I have no recollection of it, but that is where we're at now. Dallas was in Seattle March 29th. They won 5-1. Now they're in Seattle again, and I got to look at the over in this game. I know it pushed 5-1. It was on 6 last game, and it pushed, and I think we're going to see, look, Dallas is scoring at will. They just put up 5 on Seattle, 5 on Calgary, 4 on Edmonton, 3 on Minnesota. This team is putting up points on a regular basis, and I understand that they are really good defensively, but I got to believe that Seattle, after a 1-goal performance against Dallas last game, should be able to get us 2 or 3 tonight. Plus, keep in mind, Seattle outshot Dallas last game 36-20. So I actually think we're going to get a better effort from Seattle tonight. I don't want to take them because they have nothing to play for. And frankly, they're not as good as Dallas. So assuming a better effort from Seattle and assuming Dallas continues to play the way they've been playing, 6 seems low. I like the over.
I like the over too. Anytime Dallas plays, I'm not betting the under. They can score at will. They have so many guys that can put the puck in the net. Listen, I'm laying the juice here, minus 165. I have no problem laying that with Dallas against Seattle. They're a way better team. They're one of the best teams in the National Hockey League. You could take them. You could take Winnipeg. Listen, they're a top 3 team in the National Hockey League. So it's funny we were talking about that scheduling that you brought that up because I was talking with Brad May the other day. We were at an event in Saskatchewan, and I'm like, why wouldn't you do this more? Why wouldn't you go on the road, save travel for guys, for teams' cost, create rivalries where you play 2 games in a building, and then, like, if you only play them 4 times a year, whatever it is, you play 2-game sets, like baseball. It would cut down on travel. Guys would love that a little more, where you just don't fly in and then you're flying to another city. Stay there for 3 days and play 2 games. Save money, save your body, because it's hard traveling all that time. I think they should do more of this. It's funny that we bring this up because we were just talking about, like,
how did this happen, though, Matt? Like, that's what I was trying to figure out, because I don't think this has happened before. Was there a missed game and there's a makeup? How did the scheduling quirk happen?
I don't know, but I will get to the bottom of it. I will ask someone tonight in the office how this did happen. But I honestly, I think it would be great for rivalries if you have a physical game, whatever, or you lose, and then you come right back against that same team. Now you take that in Buffalo and Toronto, whatever it may be. I just think it would be great for the sport and great for players in general. And it's going to save money. It's going to save time. It's going to save so many things. So. I like Dallas here. I think they're just a way better team. I do like the over, but I think Dallas. Listen, I'd lay the puck line, but I'm just going to play it safe. Minus 165. Give me Dallas.
There we go. Matthew Barnaby, the Prez. You're watching the Blue Line of Hockey Betting Podcast. We're going to be doing a prop betting segment every show, and I track down the best prop bettor on the planet, and I mean this, Matthew. I know you're new to meeting Andy Lang, but man, this guy, and it's across all sports. Literally, I don't think I would put Andy against anybody on the planet in betting prop bets. He is making money every single year. And he also bets darts, Matt, but that's a different discussion. We'll save that for our dart.
140.
There we go. Hey, Andy Lang. We're going to have a dart show, right?
Yes, we have a dart show. We have a darts preview show for the Premier League every week, and then we do a live show. Actually, we watch the darts every Thursday. It's a blast. It's so much fun. Matt, I will guarantee you would love it. Give me one Thursday. Give me one Thursday to watch darts with me, and you will be hooked, guaranteed.
Well, but it's not about watching darts. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Matt.
I love watching the people that dress up going in. So I'm all in. If you give me a bar with beer and guys dressed up throwing, I'm in, dude. You don't have to sell me.
Yeah, but I'll tell you one thing, Matt. You got to bet his dart plays. Legit. Like, it's ridiculous. Anyway, that's for our dart show. And guys, we've got one of those too. WagerTalk TV, our YouTube channel. Check out all our content. Andy, every day you're going to come on. You're going to go through the board. You're going to find the best props out there. Today you've got 3. The microphone is yours, my friend.
Yeah, let's start with Dawson Mercer, and we'll take him over 1.5 shots on goal. Really like his production recently, over in 7 straight games. He's averaging 4.2 shot attempts per game in this 7-game streak, and he's getting 2.4 shots on goal average. I played Minnesota just a couple days ago, had 2 shots on goal there, so I think he gets it done again. Dawson Mercer over 1.5 shots on goal. Go to Matt Duchene, take him over 1.5 shots on goal as well. Over in 16 out of 20 games. He is crushing it. 4 straight games he's gone over. The last 10 games, he's averaging 4.4 shot attempts and 2.5 shots on goal. So I love the efficiency and the accuracy that he has with the shots. He played Seattle a couple days ago, had 2 shots on goal there. He actually had a point in that game as well, and they won that game 5-1, and he's at a point in 16 out of 20 games. So maybe a little same game parlay with Matt Duchene to have 2+ shots on goal and to have a point. And then we'll do a plus 260 power play point prop. Take Luke Hughes to have a power play point. He's on the first power play line. He has 3 power play points the last 2 games. He's playing Minnesota. He's played Minnesota 3 times in his career. Has a power play point every single game. He had 2 in one of the games, so he's at 4 power play points in 3 games. And Minnesota 28th in giving up power play points. So expect a lot of goals in that one. Let's take Luke Hughes to have a power play point at a nice, juicy plus 260 price.
Yeah, that's awesome, Andy. And it makes a lot of sense, especially with him getting some power play time on that first level. Those Hughes brothers, boy, serious talent coming out of that house, that's for sure. Andy Lang joining us, everyone. And you can see Andy again. Andy, you're on. What else are you doing today, bro? What other shows are you on?
Oh my gosh, we're on WagerTalk today. We are always going to have our UFC breakdown videos. We have our darts breakdown videos. We'll be breaking down some NBA games as we wrap up the regular season and get ready for the playoffs. So we'll be on just about every day. You can find me anywhere.
Wonderful. Andy Lang, everyone. Matthew, what are your 2 favorite prop bets?
Well, it's my favorite game of the night, Colorado puck line. So I'm going with Kadri under 3.5 shots. He's been really good this year, but I think Colorado just dominates this game. I don't see him getting 4 or above. Cale Makar over 2.5. You give me that shot total any day. I know he likes to look it off a little bit, but Cale Makar plays first unit power play. I think he's the best defenseman in the NHL. I don't even think he's the best defenseman in the NHL. I think he's the best defenseman of all
time.
Half shots. I think he.
Wow.
I think he will go down as the best defenseman of all time when it's all said and done.
Wow. That's a big statement. No relevance to sports gambling, but big statement nevertheless. I don't know, man. I feel like Justin Hall might have an issue with that. There you go. Justin Hall, he's my pick. Best defenseman of all time. Anyway, he's good hair. And speaking of good hair, come on, man. We got 3 old guys with exceptional hair on this show. There you go. Kadri under 3.5 shots. Makar over 2.5 shots. I love the Makar bet, Matt, because I think with the speed of Colorado and the grittiness of Calgary, I'm thinking 3 power plays for Colorado. Makar at the point. There's 2 shots right there. We just need 1 more throughout the game on 5-on-5. So that bet makes a lot of sense. Guys, we're going to do our best bet of the show. Mine, really quickly, is Dallas and Seattle over 6. That's my favorite bet. We're going to call that our blue line best bet of the day. Matthew, what is yours?
Colorado puck line, and I don't go puck line very often. Like I've said before, I think they dominate. I think they're the better team coming off a loss. I love Colorado in this spot.
That's the show, everyone. A little bit long on the intro. We'll get that right tomorrow. We're going to have a guest on our show almost every day. They're going to be famous ex-NHLers, so stay with us. We'll see who will be on tomorrow. We'll see you all tomorrow on the Blue Line. Thank you for watching.